February 1st, 1944, 12:10 hours. Cisterna di Latina, Italy. Warren Knoll lies prone on top of a small mound 2 meters above the surrounding field. The Browning automatic rifle in his hands weighs 11 kilograms loaded, 20 rounds left in the magazine. His uniform has 3 fresh bullet holes from rounds that missed him by inches. The wooden stock has a splintered groove where a 7.92 millimeter round struck it instead of his face. He has been on this mound for 90 minutes, alone, in the most exposed position on the battlefield. Every German gun within 300 yards is now firing at him. 3 MG-42 machine gun nests, 85, 100, and 120 yards away. All 3 were tearing his platoon apart. 1,200 rounds per minute from each gun. The sound is unmistakable, like an electric saw cutting through wood. High-pitched, relentless, deadly. 30 American soldiers pinned in shallow depressions across 150 meters of frozen farmland. Cannot advance, cannot retreat. Every movement draws fire. 5 men already dead. Corporal James Hartwell, 22 years old from Springfield, Illinois, lies in a depression 60 yards behind Warren. His wife Sarah is 6 months pregnant back home. Hartwell clutches a photograph of her in his left hand, while his right grips an M1 carbine he cannot fire without exposing himself. Private Robert Chen, 19, San Francisco Chinese-American, only son of immigrant parents who worked 18-hour days in a grocery store to give him a better life. Chen presses his face into the frozen dirt and whispers prayers in Cantonese his mother taught him. He has not fired his weapon since the ambush started 45 minutes ago. Private First Class Daniel O'Brien, 24, Boston former textile mill foreman. 3 younger siblings back home depend on his military pay after their father died in 1941. O'Brien is Warren's assistant BR gunner. He carries 4 extra magazines, 80 rounds. He knows Warren is running low on ammunition. He wants to crawl forward and resupply him. But the German machine guns make that impossible. All 3 of them are alive because Warren Knoll climbed this mound. All 3 of them will die if Warren goes down. Doctrine said, seek cover, stay low, do not expose yourself. Warren Knoll did the opposite. He climbed to the highest point in the field and stayed there. 20 years old, deer hunter from Spring Mount, Pennsylvania. 0 confirmed kills before this morning. By 1400 hours, he will account for at least 60 German casualties and break a counterattack that should have overrun the American beachhead. But the device that allows him to do this, the modification he built in secret 4 nights ago, that device is unauthorized. Article 108 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Destruction or modification of military property. Maximum penalty, 5 years hard labor. In a combat zone, possible firing squad. Warren built it anyway, because 4 days ago he watched a Marine die while following regulations. And Warren decided no more Marines would die because the Army's equipment failed them. His tactic is simple. If they are shooting at him, they are not shooting at his brothers. The logic came from hunting deer in Pennsylvania. Go high, see more, control the field. His father taught him that when he was 12 years old. The Army taught him the opposite. Stay low, use cover, minimize exposure. One of these lessons saved 30 men at Anzio. The other would have killed them all. To understand how a 20-year-old deer hunter from a town of 800 people killed 60 Wehrmacht soldiers, you need to see what his father showed him in the woods of Montgomery County. You need to see what happened 4 days ago when a Marine named Eddie Sullivan died in Warren's arms. And you need to see what Warren built in secret after midnight while his platoon slept. December 1935, Spring Mount, Pennsylvania. Warren is 12 years old, 4:30 in the morning. Temperature 2 degrees below 0 Celsius. Frost covers dead leaves in the forest north of town. Thomas Knoll, Warren's father, works 10-hour shifts at the Pottstown Iron Works. He makes enough to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. Barely. The depression hit hard. Every dollar counts. Every cartridge in the ammunition box represents hours of labor. Thomas takes Warren into the woods for his first deer hunt. They walk in silence for 40 minutes. No flashlight. Thomas knows these trails by memory. At dawn, they reach a clearing, an oak tree, 15 meters tall. Thomas built a wooden platform 3 meters up 2 weeks ago. Warren follows his father up the rope ladder. They sit on the platform, cold, silent, waiting. Thomas leans close and whispers, "Height equals visibility. Deer move on the ground. They rarely look up. The hunter waits, sees everything, controls the field. Thomas points to the forest floor. 3 trails converge near a creek 30 yards away. Deer use these trails every morning to reach water. From the platform, Warren can see all 3 trails. From the ground, he would see only one. Thomas hands Warren a pair of binoculars. Look at the far trail, the one you cannot see from ground level. Warren looks. He sees movement. A buck, 8 points, 90 yards away, moving slowly toward the creek. From the ground, this buck would be invisible. From the platform, Warren can count the points on its antlers. Thomas takes the binoculars back. He picks up his rifle, a Winchester lever-action 30-30. 7 rounds. He does not fire. The buck is too far. He waits. The buck walks closer. 80 yards, 70, 60. Still Thomas waits. 50 yards. The buck stops at the creek. Drinks. Broadside, perfect shot. Thomas breathes in, holds his breath, squeezes the trigger. The rifle cracks. The buck drops. 1 shot, 1 kill. Thomas ejects the spent cartridge. It falls to the platform. He picks it up and puts it in his pocket. Waste nothing. Thomas turns to Warren. Ammunition costs money. Your grandfather worked over every cartridge in that box. 1 shot, 1 deer. You do not waste rounds. You wait for the clean shot, then you take it. Over the next 6 years, Warren hunts every season. He kills 40 to 60 deer, 1 per season, sometimes 2. He masters the elevated stand. He learns patience. Sit motionless for 6 hours without moving. Read the terrain. Predict where the deer will move. Position yourself to observe all approaches. Control the geometry of the encounter. 1 shot, 1 kill. Never waste ammunition. At 14, Warren modifies the tree stand. He adds a rope stabilizer so the platform does not sway in wind. Thomas is impressed. You see how things should work, not how you are told they work. At 16, Warren modifies the rifle sling for faster shouldering. He kills an 8-point buck in 2 seconds from the moment he sees it. Thomas nods. Practical intelligence beats book learning. At 17, Warren drops out of high school to work at a brick factory in Spring Mount. 10 hours a day carrying 50-pound bricks. The work builds muscle and endurance. But he also tinkers with equipment. He modifies the brick cartwheels for smoother rolling. The supervisor catches him. "No, you got a problem with how we do things," Warren replies. "No, sir, just thought there was a better way." That tendency to modify equipment, to see better ways. That tendency will save 30 men at Anzio. But first, the Army will tell him it is illegal. March 1943. Pearl Harbor happened 16 months earlier. The Selective Service Act drafts Warren Knoll. He does not volunteer. Age 19. The Army sends him to basic training at Fort Meade, Maryland. He learns the M1 Garand first. 8 rounds, semi-automatic, 4.3 kilograms. Then they assign him as a bar gunner. The Browning automatic rifle, M1918A2, squad automatic weapon, weighs 11 kilograms loaded, more than twice the Garand. Magazine capacity 20 rounds instead of 8. Rate of fire 300 to 450 rounds per minute on slow. 500 to 650 on fast. Same 3006 Springfield cartridge as the Garand. The bar is heavier, slower to reload, but it provides suppressive fire the Garand cannot deliver. The doctrine is clear. Use cover, stay low, minimize exposure, move in tactical bounds. The BAR gunner stays with the squad, provides covering fire from prone position. Use available cover. Never expose yourself unnecessarily. Warren learns the manual. He follows the rules. But the hunting instinct remains. Go high. Elevated position equals visibility. Visibility equals control. He does not voice this contradiction, but it stays with him. His training file notes this. Private First Class Knoll demonstrates exceptional marksmanship, but tendency toward unorthodox methods requires monitoring. September 1943. The 3rd Infantry Division, nicknamed the Rock of the Marne, ships to Italy. Warren is assigned to Company C 30th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Battalion. They land at Salerno in Operation Avalanche. 4 months of fighting follow. The Volturno River. The approaches to Monte Cassino. Warren performs his duties, carries the BAR, fires when ordered, keeps his head down. His platoon nickname is War, shortened from Warren. He does not stand out. No awards, no commendations. Just another Bayard gunner in a rifle company. He meets three men who will matter. Corporal James Hartwell, 22, Springfield, Illinois, former railroad brakeman. Squad leader for 2nd Squad, married 6 months before deployment. Wife Sarah is pregnant. Due date March 1944. Hartwell carries a photograph of Sarah in his helmet liner. He updates it every month when she sends new pictures. He talks about Sarah constantly. When I get home, I am teaching our kid to fish. Hartwell writes letters every night, 17 days until rotation. Then I am going home. Private Robert Chen, 19, San Francisco, California, Chinese American, only son of immigrant parents who own a grocery store on Grand Avenue. Chen is quiet, nervous, follows orders precisely. He sends half his military pay home every month. His parents worked 18-hour days to send him to school. He fears letting them down more than he fears dying. Private First Class Daniel O'Brien, 24, Boston, Massachusetts, former textile mill foreman. Three younger siblings, ages 16, 14, and 12, depend on his income after their father died in 1941. O'Brien is Warren's assistant BR gunner. He carries extra magazines for Warren. Practical, responsible, older brother energy. He joined the Army because military pay supported his siblings better than factory wages. Warren becomes close to all three. Hartwell respects Warren's hunting skills. Asks about deer hunting. Chen looks up to Warren. Both are quiet types. O'Brien works directly with Warren as assistant BR gunner. Trusts his judgment completely. January 28, 1944, 4 days before the action at the mountain. Company C establishes an observation post 3 kilometers south of the Anzio beachhead. Rocky outcrop overlooking German positions. 2nd Squad, 8 men. Mission is simple. Establish position on the ridge. Observe enemy movement. Report. Private First Class Eddie Sullivan is the other BR gunner in the platoon. 23, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Former steelworker. Married 8 months. Wife Margaret is pregnant. Due in April. Sullivan carries a photograph of Margaret taken on their wedding day. He keeps it in his helmet liner. That morning at 0600 hours, Sullivan shows Warren the photo. Maggie is getting big. Baby is kicking now. Sullivan grins. 19 days until rotation home. Then I am going to be a father. The terrain is rocky, uneven, no flat surfaces. Sullivan sets up on a rocky ledge, the only elevated position available. He deploys his BAR bipod, the standard issue bipod, 2 folding legs, designed for flat, stable surfaces. But the ledge is uneven, rocks, frozen soil. The bipod does not sit stable. It rocks. Sullivan tries to adjust. This thing keeps slipping, cannot get a steady aim. Warren is nearby with his M1 Garand. Want me to get sandbags from the engineers? Sullivan shakes his head. Nah. Regulations say use bipod as issued. I will make it work. At 11:45 hours, a German patrol approaches from the east. 12 men, 150 yards. Lieutenant William Morrison gives the order. Sullivan suppressive fire. Pin them down. Sullivan opens fire. First burst 6 rounds. Effective. But the bar recoil on the unstable bipod causes the weapon to slip on the rocks. The legs shift. Sullivan tries to re-aim. For 3 seconds, he is exposed above the rock line, trying to reposition the weapon. A German MG-42 gunner sees the movement, fires a burst, 7.92 millimeter rounds. One strikes Sullivan in the neck. Carotid artery, blood sprays, arterial. Sullivan drops, hands to his neck. Blood pumps through his fingers. Bright red, pulsing. Warren runs 15 yards. He presses his hands to the wound. Blood soaks through. Hot, wet. Sullivan's eyes are wide, terrified. He tries to speak. Maggie, baby. He cannot finish the sentence. His eyes lose focus. 45 seconds from wound to death. Warren is covered in Sullivan's blood. The medic arrives. He is gone. Carotid. Nothing you could have done. Warren stares at Sullivan's body. The wedding photograph falls from the helmet liner. It lands in the pool of blood spreading across the rocks. Margaret's face smiling up at him from the photograph, now half covered in her husband's blood. Lieutenant Morrison addresses the platoon. Equipment failure, bipod slipped. Sullivan was exposed. Recommendation is more careful positioning. Warren hears this, and something breaks inside him. More careful positioning. The equipment failed. Sullivan followed regulations. Sullivan is dead. The bipod regulation says use as issued. Eddie followed the rules. Now Maggie Sullivan is a widow. The baby will grow up without a father because a bipod slipped. O'Brien approaches Warren. War, that was not your fault. Warren stares at Sullivan's body. It was not Eddie's fault either. The bipod is designed for flat ground. We are not on flat ground. O'Brien looks at him. So what are you saying? Warren turns to him. I am saying I am not dying because the equipment is wrong. And neither are you. That night, January 28, 1944, 2200 hours. Warren Knoll makes a decision. He will modify his bar against regulations, risk court-martial. But no more soldiers will die like Eddie Sullivan, following rules while equipment fails them. The standard BR bipod weighs 0.9 kilograms, 2 folding legs, attaches to the barrel near the muzzle, designed for flat, stable surfaces, works well on level ground, fails on uneven terrain. Rocks, slopes, frozen soil. The legs slip, the weapon shifts. The gunner must reposition. During that repositioning, he is exposed. Like Eddie Sullivan, most Marines remove the bipod entirely, saves 0.9 kilograms of weight. But without the bipod, there is no stable firing platform for elevated positions. The doctrine says stay low, use ground-level cover. But Warren's hunting instincts say go high. Elevated position equals visibility. Visibility equals control. He needs the bipod to work on elevated, uneven terrain. So he decides to fix it. Article 108 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Destruction, sale, or disposal of military property. Maximum penalty, 5 years hard labor. In a combat zone, unauthorized modification of weapons can mean firing squad, compromising equipment that other Marines depend on. The penalty is severe. Warren knows this. He decides the risk is worth it. Night 1, January 28, 2200 to 0100 hours. Warren goes to the supply tent after lights out. He steals materials. 1 sandbag from the engineer company supply, canvas straps from a medical kit, wire from a communication spool, a file and pliers from the armorer's kit. He borrows these without asking. Theft of military property, another charge if caught. His concept is simple. Attach a sandbag beneath the BIR bipod. The sandbag conforms to uneven surfaces. Rocks, slopes. The bipod remains stable regardless of terrain. Weight increases by 1.2 kilograms. Warren does not care. Stability matters more than weight. A stable weapon keeps the gunner alive. A light weapon means nothing if you are dead. He works by flashlight in the supply tent, cuts the sandbag to size, 18 centimeters by 12 centimeters, files the canvas straps to fit the bipod legs. The wire is sharp, cuts his hands. Blood on the canvas. His eyes burn from staring at the dim flashlight beam for hours. Close work. Precise. By 100 hours, he has a prototype. Attached, but not tested. At 0030 hours, O'Brien discovers him. War, what the hell are you doing? Warren does not look up. Fixing what killed Eddie. O'Brien stares. That is unauthorized modification. They will court-martial you. Warren continues working. Eddie followed regulations. Eddie is dead. I am not following regulations that kill soldiers. O'Brien pauses. Then he picks up the flashlight. Need help? Warren nods. Yeah, hold the light steady. Night 2, January 29th, 2200 to 0130 hours. Warren and O'Brien move 400 yards from camp. They find a rocky outcrop, similar to the terrain where Sullivan died. Warren sets up the modified bar. Target is a tree trunk 100 yards away. He fires 10 rounds. The weapon remains stable. The sandbag conforms to the uneven rock surface. The bipod does not slip. He moves position, fires 10 more rounds. Stable. He switches to rapid fire. 20 rounds on the fast selector. The weapon does not shift. 0 malfunctions. O'Brien is spotting. War. This is insane. You just violated Article 108. Warren ejects the magazine. No, I just saved the next Eddie Sullivan. Night 3, January 30th, 2200 to 2400 hours. Warren refines the modification, adjusts the strap tension. The bipod legs were too loose. He reinforces the sandbag stitching, prevents tearing under sustained recoil, tests the weight distribution. 11 kilograms standard becomes 12.2 kilograms with modification. Acceptable. Final test at 2300 hours. He fires 50 rounds from various positions. Rocky ground, sloped ground, frozen soil. Zero malfunctions. Stability improves 95% over standard bipod. The modification works. O'Brien watches. You are going to get court-martialed, or you are going to save a lot of lives. Maybe both. Warren packs up the bar. If Morrison asks, you do not know anything. O'Brien nods. I do not know anything. January 22nd, 1944, Operation Shingle. The Allies land at Anzio and Nettuno, 50 kilometers south of Rome. The objective is to outflank the German Gustav Line and open the road to Rome. The landing catches the Germans by surprise. But General John P. Lucas hesitates. Instead of advancing immediately toward Rome, he consolidates the beachhead. That hesitation gives Field Marshal Albert Kesselring time to react. Within 48 hours, German reinforcements surround the beachhead. The Hermann Göring Panzer Division, the 3rd Panzer Grenadier Division, elite units, North Africa veterans, Sicily veterans, battle-hardened troops. By January 30th, the Allies are trapped in a perimeter 15 kilometers deep and 25 kilometers wide. The Germans begin counterattacking. The plan is to split the beachhead and push the Allies back into the sea. January 30th and 31st, the Battle of Cisterna. The U.S. Rangers attempt to break through German lines and take the town of Cisterna di Latina. Strategic crossroads, 15 kilometers inland. The attack fails catastrophically. Darby's Rangers are surrounded, 761 men killed or captured. The 3rd Infantry Division cannot break through to relieve them. The Rangers are destroyed. Company C receives orders on the evening of January 31st. Reconnaissance patrol at dawn, February 1st. Move forward 300 meters. Identify German positions before the expected counterattack. The orders sound routine. The reality is darker. Company C is bait, meant to draw fire so artillery spotters can locate German guns. Expendable reconnaissance. The men sense this but do not speak it aloud. Warren packs 6 magazines for his BR, 120 rounds. He includes the modified bipod with the sandbag stabilizer. O'Brien watches him. War, you are taking the modified bar. Warren nods. Yeah. O'Brien frowns. Morrison is going to notice. Warren slings the weapon over his shoulder. Not if I do not miss. At 2300 hours, Warren writes a letter to his mother. He does not mail it. It will be found in his pack after the battle. Mom, tomorrow we are going out on patrol. Do not know when I will write again. If something happens, tell Dad I used what he taught me. 1 shot, 1 deer. That is how you do it. Love, Warren. February 1st, 1944, 0530 hours. Company C moves out into the pre-dawn darkness. 38 men advance in a dispersed line across open farmland near Cisterna. The terrain is flat, agricultural fields, recently harvested wheat, stubble 10 to 15 centimeters high. No trees, minimal cover. Just shallow depressions in the ground. Natural folds in the earth barely 30 centimeters deep. The soil is semi-frozen. February in central Italy, temperature around 3 degrees Celsius. Warren walks on the right flank of the line, bar in his hands, modified bipod attached, sandbag stabilizer visible if anyone looks closely. His hunter's eyes scan the field constantly. Something feels wrong. The field is too open. Where are the Germans? 0607 hours. The first MG-42 opens fire. Part 2, the execution. The sound is unmistakable. A high-pitched ripping sound, 1,200 rounds per minute, like an electric saw cutting through wood. The German machine gun fires from a camouflaged position 85 yards ahead. The first burst kills 3 Americans instantly. Privates Miller, Jackson, and Torres. They drop without making a sound, dead before they hit the ground. The rest of the patrol dives for cover, but there is no real cover. Just shallow depressions that barely conceal a prone man. The frozen earth offers no protection, only concealment. and concealment means nothing against interlocking fields of fire. Then the second MG42 opens fire from the left, 100 yards away, then the third from the right, 120 yards. The patrol is caught in a perfect crossfire. 3 machine gun nests, positioned with precision, every approach covered, every movement zone targeted. The Germans have been waiting for this patrol. They built this kill zone specifically for Company C. The MG42s fire in alternating bursts, 5 to 7 seconds of fire, 3 to 4 seconds to change barrels or reload, then fire again. Constant pressure, psychological warfare. The sound never stops, just shifts from one gun to another. 1,200 rounds per minute, each gun, 3,600 rounds per minute total, filling the air with supersonic death. 5 more men are hit in the first 15 minutes. Private Davis from Tennessee tries to crawl to a wounded man calling for a medic. The MG42 gunner sees the movement, fires a burst. Davis retreats. I cannot reach him. They will kill me. The wounded man keeps calling. Please, somebody. His voice gets weaker, then stops. The platoon is immobilized, pinned, cannot advance, cannot retreat. Every man pressed flat against frozen earth, waiting, hoping, praying the next burst misses. Warren lies in a shallow depression, bar pointed forward. He studies the field the way he studied forest back in Pennsylvania, reading terrain, identifying patterns. The MG42 positions are not directly visible, too well camouflaged, but he can detect their locations through observation. Muzzle flash, smoke, sound, the movement of the barrel. First nest, 85 yards ahead, he sees muzzle flash and smoke rising. 3-man crew, gunner loader ammunition feeder, positioned behind low sandbags. Second nest, 100 yards to the left. He sees the barrel moving, traversing left to right, searching for targets. 2 men visible, gunner and feeder. Third nest, 120 yards to the right. He can only hear this one. No visual confirmation. The sound tells him direction and approximate distance, heavily camouflaged, probably behind a berm or in a fighting hole. All 3 are positioned in low ground or behind fortifications, barely visible above field level. From his prone position, Warren can barely see them. The angle is wrong, too flat. He needs elevation. Height equals visibility. His father's lesson from 20 years ago. 60 yards ahead of him, there is a small mound, a natural rise in the terrain, maybe 2 to 3 meters higher than the surrounding field. The only elevated point visible in 360 degrees. No trees, no structures, just a gentle slope of earth, completely exposed. The most dangerous position on the battlefield. But from up there, he would see everything. The thought forms in his mind like a hunter planting a stalk. From that mound, I see where they are. They see me, but I see them better. I become the deer. They become the hunters. But if they are shooting at me, they are not shooting at my brothers. The modified bipod will keep me stable up there. Standard bipod would fail on that uneven ground. Eddie Sullivan died because his bipod failed. Mine will not fail, because I fixed it. Warren turns to the soldier next to him, a private from Iowa, 18 years old. Name is Peterson. I am going to that mound. Peterson stares at him like he is insane. You will be killed in 10 seconds, Warren replies. They cannot kill all of us if they are shooting at me. Peterson grabs his arm. Nappy, do not. But Warren is already starting to crawl. The lieutenant is 25 yards behind. Lieutenant William Morrison, 29 years old. West Point, 1938, from Kentucky. He cannot see what Warren is doing. Too far back, too much smoke and dust. Warren does not ask permission, does not wait for orders. He improvises. Initiative when command is paralyzed. 0605 hours. Warren begins crawling toward the mound, 60 yards away. The BR weighs 11 kilograms loaded, now 12.2 with the modification. He drags it with his right hand. His elbows pull his body forward through the stubble. The semi-frozen soil cuts his hands through his gloves. Sharp ice crystals mixed with dead wheat stalks. The pain is distant. Adrenaline mutes it. The MG42s are firing over the field, sweeping back and forth. but they have not detected him yet. They focus on the main American positions, the larger threats, the men who might organize a counterattack. Warren is just one soldier crawling slowly through wheat stubble, not worth a burst, not yet. He crawls 10 yards, past the body of Private Torres, face down in the dirt, blood frozen in a dark pool beneath him. Torres was from El Paso, 21 years old, wanted to be a teacher after the war. Warren does not stop, does not look at the face. Keep moving. 10 more yards. At 20 yards, an MG-42 burst sweeps the area to his left. Bullets kick up frozen dirt 2 meters away. The impacts sound like hammers hitting stone. Warren freezes, presses himself flat, does not breathe. 10 seconds. The MG-42 stops firing, crew reloading. Warren continues crawling. 30 yards, 40 yards. The Germans still have not detected him. His movement is too slow, too deliberate. He stays low, below the sight line. Just another shadow in the wheat stubble. 45 yards, 50 yards. The slope of the mound begins. The ground rises gradually, almost there. At 55 yards, Warren is above the level of the surrounding field. Now he is visible. If the Germans look this direction, he is dead. No cover, no concealment, just a man crawling up a gentle slope with a bar on his back. But they do not look. They are still firing at the pinned platoon, suppressing them, keeping them down, waiting for the assault troops to arrive and finish the job. Warren crawls the last 5 yards, reaches the top of the mound, positions himself prone, bar forward. He deploys the bipod, the modified bipod with the sandbag stabilizer. The mound surface is uneven. Frozen soil, small rocks, roots. A standard bipod would slip on this terrain, would rock back and forth, unstable. The gunner would have to hold the weapon with muscle tension. Exhausting, inaccurate. But Warren's modification conforms to the surface. The sandbag molds itself to the contours. The bipod locks stable, solid. The weapon does not move. From this position, Warren has a 360-degree view over the flat field. He can see everything. The kill zone laid out below him like a map. The geometry of death made visible. MG-42 nest number 1, 85 yards ahead. 3 men clearly visible now. Gunner behind the weapon, loader crouched beside him with an ammunition can, feeder threading the belt. Low sandbags, camouflage netting, professional setup. These are not conscripts. These are veterans. MG-42 nest number 2, 100 yards to the left. 2 men visible, gunner firing, feeder managing the belt, positioned in a shallow trench, only their heads and the gun barrel above ground level. MG-42 nest number 3, 120 yards to the right. Now he can see it. Barely, just the barrel visible. Heavily camouflaged, probably a fighting hole with overhead cover. Smart. That gun is nearly invisible. But from elevation, Warren can detect the muzzle signature. The slight shimmer of heat rising from the barrel. The nearly invisible movement as it traverses. Behind him, 30 American soldiers are pinned across 150 meters of front. Hartwell, Chen, O'Brien. 30 men who will die if Warren fails. 30 families who will receive telegrams. We regret to inform you, Sarah Hartwell will raise her baby alone. The Chen family grocery store in San Francisco will have no son to inherit it. O'Brien's 3 younger siblings will lose their income. 30 families destroyed. Unless Warren does this, he makes his tactical decision. Engage the closest target first. MG-42 nest number 1, 85 yards. He switches the bar selector to slow, 300 to 450 rounds per minute. More control, less wasted ammunition. His father's voice in his memory. 1 shot, 1 deer. Do not waste rounds. 0610 hours. Warren aims at the MG-42 gunner in nest number 1. The man is in profile, feeding the weapon, focused on his work, unaware that 85 yards away, a deer hunter from Pennsylvania has him in his sights. Warren controls his breathing, inhales, exhales, inhales halfway, holds it, squeezes the trigger. The bar fires 4 rounds in 1 second. The sound is distinct, deeper than the MG-42, slower, more deliberate. Put, 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 put. The recoil pushes back against Warren's shoulder. The modified bipod holds absolutely stable. Does not slip. Does not shift. The sandbag conforms and grips. Eddie Sullivan, this is for you. The gunner falls backward. Struck center mass. The second crewman, the ammunition feeder, turns to see what happened. Confused. Where did that come from? Warren fires again. 3 rounds. The feeder falls. The third man, the loader, drops the ammunition can and runs. Abandons his position. Sprints toward the rear. Warren does not fire at him. Running men are hard to hit. Waste of ammunition. The MG-42 nest number 1 is silenced. That is what matters. 5 seconds later, the Germans in the other positions identify the source. They see Warren on the mound, see the muzzle flash, see the lone American in the most exposed position on the battlefield. Both remaining MG-42s swing toward him. The world becomes violence. Supersonic cracks fill the air. 7. 92mm rounds snapping past at 2,800 feet per second. The sound comes after the bullet. First the crack, then the report. Warren hears bullets before he hears the guns that fired them. Temporal distortion, physics made audible. Bullets strike the ground around him. Frozen soil explodes into fragments. Dirt showers his face. Rocks shatter. Pieces of stone ricochet. One round passes 6 inches from his head. He feels the pressure wave, the air displacement, the sense of something massive and invisible moving at impossible speed right beside his face. Another round tears through his uniform sleeve. The left arm rips the fabric clean through, does not touch skin, misses by millimeters. The hole appears in the cloth between one heartbeat and the next. A third round strikes the wooden stock of his BR, impacts the wood just ahead of the trigger guard, gouges a deep groove in the stock. Splinters fly. One cuts Warren's cheek. He feels warm blood run down his face. The stock holds, does not break, but the groove is deep. Another inch to the right, and the round would have struck the receiver. Disabled the weapon. Another inch further, and it would have struck Warren's hand. Warren rolls 2 meters to his right, changes position on the mound. Movement equals survival. In hunting, deer detect static shapes. Motion confuses them briefly. Same principle here. The German gunners aim at where Warren was, not where he is. By the time they adjust, he has moved again. Stay moving, even if just 1 or 2 meters. Do not give them a static target. 0612 hours. 2 German Panzer Grenadiers advance from the left, moving in tactical bounds. The infantry tactic. 1 man runs while the other covers. Then switch. Crouched runs, 5 to 10 meters at a time. Then drop to prone. Then up and run again. Professional, disciplined. These are elite troops. Each man carries 3 to 4 steel hand granite, stick grenades, wooden handle with explosive head. Throw them like a hammer. Effective radius 10 meters. Their objective is clear. Flank the mound. Get close. Throw grenades. Kill Warren. Eliminate the threat. Distance 100 yards. Then 80. Then 60. Then 40. They are covering ground fast, using dead ground, small dips in the terrain, moving when Warren is focused on the MG-42 nests. Professional timing. In 2 minutes, they will be close enough to throw. Warren watches them through his sights, tracks their movement, does not fire. The hunter's patience. Let the target come closer. Do not fire too early. Ammunition is finite. Every round counts. Wait for the clean shot. His father's lesson applied to human targets. The range closes. 35 yards. 30. 25. The first grenadier rises to sprint. Warren fires. 6 rounds. Rapid. The man falls. Struck in the chest, goes down hard, does not move. The second grenadier sees his partner fall, knows he is exposed, makes a decision. He stands. Pulls a stick grenade from his belt. His arm comes up to throw. The motion is smooth. Practiced. He has done this 100 times, but he is 20 yards from the mound, in the open, silhouetted against the gray sky. Warren fires 4 rounds. The grenadier falls before the grenade leaves his hand. The stick grenade tumbles from his grip, lands 10 yards away from him, explodes 3 seconds later. The blast is sharp, distinct, different from the gunfire. The shock wave ripples outward. Dirt and smoke billow up, but the grenadier is already dead. The grenade cannot hurt him now. Two more Germans down. Warren traverses right, searches for new threats. 061 fine hours. MG-42 nest number 2, 100 yards to the left. Still active, still firing at the pinned platoon. Warren switches the bar selector to fast, 500 to 650 rounds per minute. He needs volume now. Suppression. Force the crew to take cover. He fires a burst of 10 rounds. 1.2 seconds of sustained fire. The tracers are visible. Phosphorus-tipped bullets. Every fifth round. Leave a bright trail in the air. Like orange lines drawn across the gray morning. The tracers streak toward the German position. The objective is not necessarily to kill. The objective is suppression. Force them down. Disrupt their fire. Keep them from killing Americans. Warren's burst impacts around the MG-42 nest. Dirt and sandbags explode. The crew sees the tracers coming. Ducks. The MG-42 stops firing. Warren fires a second burst. 8 rounds, walks the fire across the position. Left to right, he sees one German fall backward. Struck. The MG-42 tries to resume firing. The surviving crewman attempts to man the gun alone. Heroic but futile, he is exposed, trying to operate a crew-served weapon by himself. Warren fires a third burst. 6 rounds, concentrated on the gunner's position. The MG-42 stops permanently. Nest number 2 is silenced. 2 out of 3 nests eliminated. 60 yards below the mound, O'Brien is watching. Danny O'Brien, assistant BR gunner. He sees what Warren is doing. He counts the bursts. He knows the magazine capacity. 20 rounds. Warren has fired multiple bursts. He must be running low. O'Brien looks at the 4 extra magazines on his belt. 80 rounds. Warren needs them. But the distance is 60 yards of open ground. And MG-42 nest number 3 is still active. Hartwell is 80 yards behind the mound, pressed flat in a shallow depression. He can hear the change in gunfire. The MG-42s are firing less. Warren is suppressing them. Hartwell thinks about Sarah, 6 months pregnant, their baby due in March. He looks at the photograph in his hand, Sarah smiling, her hand on her belly. If Warren goes down, we all die. Sarah becomes a widow. My baby grows up without a father. Keep shooting war. Keep them off us. Chen is 70 yards from the mound. He has not fired his weapon since the ambush started. Frozen, paralyzed by fear. He watches Warren on the mound. Alone, exposed, firing, moving, surviving. Chen thinks about his parents, the grocery store on Grand Avenue. 18-hour days, all for him, their only son. He is alive because one man climbed a mound and started shooting. I should help. I should do something. But I cannot move. I am a coward. Warren is brave. I am not. 0620 hours. Warren checks his current magazine. 5 rounds left. He has 2 full magazines remaining on his belt. 40 rounds. Total available ammunition, including the 5 in the weapon. 45 rounds. Not enough. MG-42 nest number 3 is still active 120 yards to the right, plus unknown number of German infantry in support. He is running out of ammunition. The BR barrel is hot. He can feel the heat radiating through the air. Approximately 150 to 200 rounds fired in 15 minutes. The BR has no water cooling system like the larger machine guns. Overheating is a real risk. His hands are shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline and the physical strain of controlling 11 kilograms of recoiling weapon. Even with the modified bipod stabilizing the platform, the recoil still punches back into his shoulder. Again and again, his shoulders ache. Bruised, the stock slams back with each burst. 20 rounds of .30-06 Springfield cartridge. That is significant recoil, sustained for 15 minutes. The physical toll accumulates. His mouth is dry, dust and cordite in the air. He tastes gunpowder, metal, blood from where the wood splinter cut his cheek. His canteen is with his pack, left behind at the patrol assembly point. No water. He spits to wet his mouth. The saliva is thick, gritty. 0625 hours. A new threat appears. Warren sees movement to his front, beyond the silenced MG-42 nests. German soldiers advancing. Not a patrol, not a flanking element. An assault platoon, 20 to 30 men, moving in a staggered line, professional formation. They advance by bounds. Half the unit moves forward 10 to 15 meters, while the other half provides overwatch. Then they switch. Textbook infantry tactics, the kind of tactics that win battles. Initial distance 150 yards, then 120, then 100. They are closing fast. Objective clear. Overrun the mound. Kill Warren. Eliminate the threat disrupting the kill zone. Restore the ambush so the MG-42s can finish destroying Company C. Warren makes a tactical decision. Ignore MG-42 nest number 3. It is 120 yards away. Too far for effective Bayar fire against a fortified position. The bipod helps, but the Bayar is fundamentally a squad automatic weapon, not a long-range precision instrument. Effective range against point targets may be 300 yards. Against a well-protected machine gun nest at 120 yards, the odds of success are low. Better to focus on the closer threat, the infantry, advancing, closing. They are at 100 yards now, moving fast. Visible targets, exposed. Warren switches selector to fast, 500 to 650 rounds per minute. He needs to break this assault, stop their momentum, force them back. At 100 yards, Warren opens fire. Short controlled bursts, 4 rounds, shift aim. 4 rounds, shift aim, 4 rounds. He does not hold the trigger. Does not spray. Controlled aggression, each burst targeted at an individual soldier. Aimed fire. Precise. His hunting instincts applied to human targets. Germans begin to fall. The first man is struck in the chest, drops immediately. The second is hit in the leg, falls screaming, clutches his thigh, arterial blood. He will bleed out in minutes without treatment. The third, fourth, fifth, 5 to 6 Germans down in 30 seconds. The rest of the assault platoon seeks cover, dives into depressions behind the bodies of dead comrades, using corpses as sandbags. Grim but effective. A body stops bullets, the dead protecting the living. The assault loses momentum. Stalls. At 80 yards, Warren continues firing. Any movement draws a burst. 3 to 4 rounds. A German raises his head to look, tries to assess the situation. Warren fires. The head snaps back. The man falls. Another German tries to crawl forward. Advancing on elbows and knees, slow but moving. Warren fires. The crawling stops. 4 to 5 more Germans down. The assault platoon cannot advance, cannot move forward against concentrated automatic weapons fire from an elevated position. The tactical advantage of height, visibility equals control. Warren can see them. They cannot effectively return fire without exposing themselves. The geometry of the battlefield favors the defender on high ground. A German officer is heard shouting. Warren does not understand German, but he understands tone. Frustration, anger. The assault is failing. Men are dying. The officer orders a temporary withdrawal. The assault platoon retreats. Pulls back 50 yards. Regroups. Estimated casualties this engagement, 10 to 12. Warren is still on the mound. Still alive. 25 minutes exposed. The most dangerous position on the battlefield. And he is winning. 06 and 30 hours. Warren squeezes the bar trigger. Click. Magazine empty. He ejects it. Reaches for his belt. Grabs the second to last magazine. Slams it home. Charges the weapon. 20 rounds, plus 1 full magazine remaining. 40 rounds total. MG-42 Nest, number 3 is still firing. He can hear it. 120 yards away. Firing at the pinned Americans. Not at Warren. The Germans have learned. Do not expose yourself to the man on the mound. Stay in cover. Wait for him to run out of ammunition. And Warren is running out. 40 rounds remaining against a machine gun nest and a reinforced platoon. Not enough, not nearly enough. He needs more ammunition. Now, 15 yards below the mound, there is a dead American soldier. The same body Warren crawled past during his initial approach. Private Torres from El Paso, 21 years old, dead 90 minutes. Warren remembers seeing Torres at breakfast. Torres was talking about his girlfriend, Maria, back in El Paso. They were going to get married after the war. Torres showed everyone a photograph, Maria in a white dress, smiling. Now Torres is dead and Maria will receive a telegram. Torres has equipment, an M1 Garand, a cartridge belt, ammunition. But Torres was a rifleman, not a bar gunner. He carries Garand ammunition, 8-round en-bloc clips, not 20-round bar magazines. Same cartridge. 3006 Springfield, same bullet, but different feeding systems. The Garand uses clips that load into the internal magazine. The bar uses detachable box magazines. They are not interchangeable. Warren will have to manually empty the Garand clips and reload his BAR magazines by hand. Under fire, on exposed ground. It is dangerous, possibly suicidal. But the alternative is running out of ammunition. And if he runs out of ammunition, he dies. And if he dies, 30 Americans die, including Hartwell. Chen, O'Brien, no choice. He has to move. 06:32 hours. Warren begins crawling down the mound toward Torres's body. 15 yards. The German MG-42 detects movement, opens fire. Bullets tear up the ground around him. Frozen soil explodes. At 5 yards, a German grenade lands 5 meters to his right. Someone threw it from one of the German positions, trying to kill him during the vulnerable moment. The grenade explodes. Shockwave. Dirt showers over him, rocks and ice fragments. Stings his face. He keeps crawling. At 10 yards, an MG-42 burst passes centimeters above him. He can feel the bullets, the air turbulence, the wake of supersonic projectiles. Death passing overhead by the width of a fist. At 15 yards, he reaches Torres. He turns the body over. Searches for ammunition. Torres's cartridge belt. 6 en-bloc clips. 8 rounds each. 48 cartridges total. Warren removes the belt. His hands are shaking. Adrenaline, incoming fire, exhaustion. The MG-42 continues firing. Bullets impact nearby. He can hear them. Zipper sounds in the dirt. Warren grabs the first clip. 8 rounds held together by a steel clip. He ejects the cartridges into his palm. The rounds spill out. Brass casings, pointed bullets. He picks up an empty bar magazine from his belt. The magazine he just emptied. Begins inserting rounds one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. His hands are shaking so badly some rounds fall. He picks them up from the dirt. Keeps loading. He grabs the second clip. Ejects 8 more rounds. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. His hands are too unsteady to load all 20. The magazine capacity is 20, but he can only manage 16. An MG-42 burst, cracks nearby. Dirt kicks up 3 meters away. Warren decides 16 is good enough. Fuck it. Close enough. He shoves the remaining clips into his pockets. Approximately 32 rounds loose. He will load them later if he survives that long. He crawls back up the mound, dragging the bar. 15 yards. Under fire. The longest 15 yards of his life. 06:35 hours. Warren is back at the top, magazine loaded with 16 rounds, plus approximately 32 more rounds in loose clips in his pockets. Total 48 rounds. He resumes his position. The modified BAR bipod still holds solid. The sandbag stabilizer still grips the uneven ground. Eddie, your death was not wasted. This modification works. I am still alive because of it. 0640 to 0800 hours. The pattern repeats. Germans attempt to flank. Warren fires. Germans retreat. Every 15 to 20 minutes, a new German attempt. Small probes. 3 to 5 men trying to advance. Warren engages with short bursts, conserves ammunition. The Germans pull back. They are testing him, trying to determine if he is still combat effective, trying to make him expend ammunition, waiting for him to run dry. At 07:05 hours, MG-42 nest number 3 finally goes silent. The crew either evacuates or dies. The historical record does not specify which. Warren suspects they withdrew. Smart tactical decision. 3 nests deployed, 2 eliminated. The 3rd nest crew sees this, decides staying is suicidal, pulls back with the weapon, lives to fight another day. Warren reloads his magazines 3 more times using the Garand clips. Each reload takes 2 to 3 minutes. Dangerous, exposed, but necessary. He cannot fight without ammunition. Estimated total rounds fired over 90 minutes. 200 to 250. Warren loses count. His focus is survival. not scorekeeping. 0800 hours. The silence is sudden, eerie. No MG-42 fire, no rifle fire, no grenade explosions, just wind across frozen fields. The sound of men breathing hard, the sound of survival. Warren realizes the Germans have withdrawn. He does not know why. Later intelligence will reveal the Germans received orders to pull back. 3rd Infantry Division counterattack launching elsewhere. Germans consolidating forces. The assault on Company C is canceled. The Americans are no longer worth the casualties. One man on a mound made them too expensive to kill. Warren fires his last 8 rounds into the abandoned German positions, ensuring they are truly abandoned, not a trap. The barrel clicks empty. Final magazine expended. He has no ammunition remaining. If the Germans counterattack now, he is defenseless. But they do not come. Lieutenant Morrison shouts from 80 yards back. War, they are gone. Get down here. Warren descends from the mound. His legs are shaking. Muscle fatigue. Adrenaline crash. He walks slowly, carefully. The bar feels impossibly heavy now. 11 kilograms becomes 50. His shoulders scream. His hands are bloody, cut by frozen soil and sharp brass casings. American soldiers stare at him as he walks past. Silent, awed. Someone says, "You held them for 90 minutes. Alone. Warren does not respond, cannot respond. Exhaustion beyond words. A medic runs up, checks him for wounds. Nothing. You are not hit. How are you not hit? Warren shakes his head. Does not know, does not care, just wants water. Hartwell approaches, limping slightly. Shrapnel wound in his left calf from earlier. Not serious. He will survive. He extends his hand. Warren shakes it. Hartwell is crying. Not hiding it. War. Sarah is going to have a baby in March. Because of you, I will be there. Warren nods. Good. That is good. Hartwell keeps holding his hand. Thank you. Warren pulls his hand back gently. You would have done the same. Chen approaches, hand still shaking. War, I froze. I could not move. You saved us. Warren looks at him. You did fine, Bobby. You are alive. That is what matters. Chen switches to Cantonese. Says something Warren does not understand. Then in English. My parents will never know how close I came to dying. Thank you. Warren nods. Tell them you were brave. Chen shakes his head. I was not brave. You were. Warren replies. Brave is staying alive. You did that. O'Brien approaches, still carrying the 4-bar magazines he could not deliver. War, I tried to get you ammunition. Could not make it. Warren takes his canteen. Drinks. The water is cold. Perfect. He hands it back. You had my back, Danny. That is enough. O'Brien looks at the modified bar. The sandbag stabilizer visible. Torn, bloody, but still attached. Still functional. The modification worked. Warren follows his gaze. Yeah, it worked. Eddie would be glad. O'Brien nods. Eddie would be proud. Lieutenant Morrison arrives, stares at Warren, then at the BR, at the modified bipod. The sandbag stabilizer obvious now in daylight. Morrison's face is unreadable. No, what the hell is that on your bipod? Warren meets his eyes. Sandbag stabilizer, sir. Unauthorized modification. Article 108 violation. Morrison stares. How long have you had that? Warren replies. Since January 28th, after Sullivan died. Morrison looks at the mound, looks at the field, looks at the 30 living men of Company C, looks back at Warren. We will talk about this. Get cleaned up first. You look like shit. Warren nods. Yes, sir. Morrison walks away, then stops, turns back. No. Warren looks up. Morrison hesitates, then says, that was the bravest goddamn thing I have seen in this war. Whatever happens next, remember I said that. He walks away. O'Brien leans close to Warren. War Morrison saw the modification. Warren nods. I know. O'Brien asks, what is he going to do? Warren shrugs. Court-martial me or give me a medal. Maybe both. O'Brien looks worried. War. Warren cuts him off. Danny, 30 men are alive. That is all that matters. If Morrison wants to court-martial me, that is his choice. But Jimmy is going home to Sarah. Bobby is going home to his parents. You are going home to your siblings. Worth it. Behind them across the field, intelligence officers are already moving forward, counting bodies, assessing the damage. Later they will compile a report. German casualties in front of the mound, approximately 20 to 25 corpses. In the surrounding area, MG nests and approach routes, approximately 35 to 40 bodies, or evidence of wounded evacuated by the Germans. Blood trails, drag marks, discarded equipment, total approximately 60 casualties. Confirmed dead plus seriously wounded evacuated. The distribution is primarily in a 180-degree arc in front of the mound. MG nest number 1, 85 yards, 3 dead. MG nest number 2, 100 yards, 2 to 4 dead. Flanking grenadiers, 2 dead. Assault platoon, 10 to 12 dead or wounded. Other engagements, 20 to 30 dead or wounded. Major General Lucien Truscott, commander of the 3rd Infantry Division, will visit the site the following day. He will stand on the mound, look at the field, see the geometry, the sight lines, the kill zones. He will call Warren Knoll a one-man army. He will immediately recommend him for the Medal of Honor. But politics will intervene. The modification, the unauthorized equipment, the implication that Army-issued gear was inadequate. A 20-year-old private with a sandbag outperforming millions of dollars in engineering. The generals cannot admit that. So the Medal of Honor will be quietly downgraded. Bronze Star instead. With a vague citation that mentions nothing specific, just heroic achievement in connection with military operations. The truth buried in classified after-action reports. But that is tomorrow. Right now at 08:15 hours, February 1st, 1944. Warren Knoll sits on the frozen ground and drinks water from O'Brien's canteen. His hands are still shaking. The bar lies beside him. Modified bipod still attached. The sandbag stabilizer torn, but functional. Proof of what he did. Evidence of what he built. And Lieutenant Morrison has seen it. In 15 minutes, Morrison will make a decision that changes everything. 08:30 hours. Lieutenant Morrison appears at the edge of the field, captain behind him. Warren is sitting on the ground, still drinking water. The bar lies beside him, modified bipod visible, sandbag stabilizer torn and bloody, but unmistakably present. Morrison walks directly to Warren. His face is neutral, unreadable. Knoll, you are coming with me. Warren stands, his legs protest. 90 minutes of sustained combat, adrenaline crash, muscle fatigue. He picks up the bar, follows Morrison across the field. O'Brien watches them go, whispers to Hartwell. They are going to court-martial him. Hartwell shakes his head. They better not. War saved all of us. They walk 200 yards to the command tent. Battalion headquarters. Temporary structure. Canvas walls. Maps on folding tables. Radio equipment. 3 officers wait inside. Morrison, a captain, a major. The major is older. 45, combat veteran. North Africa. Sicily. Eyes that have seen too much. He gestures to a chair. Sit down, Sergeant. Warren sits, still holding the bar. The major reaches out. May I? Warren hands him the weapon. The major examines it, turns it over, sees the modification immediately. The sandbag stabilizer, canvas straps, wire reinforcement, improvised but functional, professional in its simplicity. The major sets it on the table. All 3 officers stare at it, then at Warren. The major speaks first. Do you know what you did? Sergeant Warren replies, yes, sir. The major waits, a long pause. 5 seconds. 10, then says, enlighten me. Warren keeps his voice flat. Engaged 17 enemy positions, approximately 60 casualties. Held elevated position for 90 minutes. Used modified equipment. Violated Article 108, sir. The captain leans forward. Article 108, destruction or modification of military property. Maximum penalty, 5 years hard labor. Warren nods. Yes, sir. The captain continues. Article 92, failure to obey orders. You were never authorized to modify that weapon. Warren replies, correct, sir. The captain looks at the major. The major looks at Morrison. Morrison looks at Warren. Long silence. Morrison breaks it. How many did you kill up there? Warren answers. 17 confirmed. 28 total, including wounded. Sir. Morrison asks, in how much time? Warren replies, 97 minutes, sir. An intelligence officer enters. A lieutenant, younger, carries a folder, speaks to the major. Sir, preliminary assessment. If that position had not been held, estimated American casualties would have been 180. The German assault platoon was staging for a company-level attack. Two more platoons were moving into position when Sergeant Knoll engaged. His action disrupted their timeline, forced them to redirect resources, gave us time to call in artillery support. Division commander wants to know who held that mound. The major nods. Dismissed. The intelligence officer leaves. The major turns back to Warren. You built this modification from what Warren replies. Sandbag, canvas straps, wire. Total cost approximately zero. Salvaged materials, sir. The major picks up the bear again, examines the stabilizer. And this works better than the standard bipod on uneven terrain, Warren answers. Yes, sir. On elevated positions or rocky ground, the standard bipod slips. This modification conforms to the surface, maintains stability. The captain interjects. Why did you build it? Warren looks at him. Private First Class Eddie Sullivan died 4 days ago. His bipod failed on a rocky outcrop. Weapon slipped. He was exposed for 3 seconds trying to reposition. German machine gun killed him. Carotid artery. 45 seconds from wound to death. Sir, his wife is pregnant, due in April. She is now a widow. The baby will grow up without a father. Because the equipment failed. Silence. The major sets the bar down. Sergeant Knoll, I have a problem. If I give you a silver star, I am condoning disobeying orders and modifying equipment without authorization. If I court-martial you, I am punishing a man who saved 180 American lives. If word gets out that a 20-year-old private with a sandbag outperformed the Army's standard-issue equipment, he pauses, looks at the ceiling. What the hell am I supposed to do with you? Warren meets his eyes. Sir Eddie Sullivan had a wife named Margaret and an unborn child. I could not let that happen to 30 more families. Sarah Hartwell gets to see her husband again. The Chen family in San Francisco gets their son back. Danny O'Brien's 3 younger siblings keep getting his pay. 30 men, 30 families. That matters more than regulations. Sir? Another long silence. The major turns to Morrison. Lieutenant, what is your assessment? Morrison straightens. Sir Sergeant Knoll violated Article 108. He modified equipment without authorization. He should face consequences. However, he saved my entire platoon. He held an impossible position. He demonstrated initiative and tactical brilliance, and his modification works better than what we currently issue. I recommend we authorize the device, equip every BR gunner in the battalion, and promote Sergeant Knoll to Staff Sergeant. The captain objects. If we authorize unauthorized modifications. Morrison cuts him off. Sir, with respect, it is not unauthorized anymore if we authorize it now. The captain stares. That is, Morrison continues, the device costs nothing, uses salvaged materials, can be built by any armorer in 2 hours. And it works. We have proof. 60 German casualties, 180 American lives saved, 0 cost. If we court-martial Knoll for this, what message does that send to our men? Follow regulations, even when regulations get you killed. The major considers this, looks at Warren. Sergeant Knoll, can you teach our armorer how to build this? Warren nods. Yes, sir, the major asks. How long? Warren replies. 2 hours, maybe less. Sir, the major makes his decision. Here is what is going to happen. Knoll, you are going to teach our battalion armorer how to build this modification. Today, every bar gunner in this battalion gets one by tomorrow morning. Understood, Warren replies. Yes, sir. The major continues. You are promoted to Staff Sergeant, effective immediately. You are receiving a Bronze Star for heroic achievement. Not a Silver Star, not a Medal of Honor, a Bronze Star. With a citation so vague, nobody will ever know what you actually did. Because if the generals find out a private with a sandbag fixed their equipment, heads will roll, mine included. Clear, Warren answers. Clear, sir. The major leans forward. And Knoll, if you ever modify equipment again without telling an officer first, I will personally court-martial you. My heart cannot take this. Do you understand? Warren almost smiles. Yes, sir. The major waves his hand. Get out. Go teach the armorer. And somebody get this man a shower. He smells like cordite and death. Warren stands, picks up the bar, walks out. Morrison follows him outside. They stand in the February sunlight. Morrison lights a cigarette, offers one to Warren. Warren takes it. They smoke in silence for 30 seconds. Then Morrison speaks. Or what you did up there. I have never seen anything like it. Warren shrugs. Just did what needed doing. Morrison shakes his head. No, you saw a problem with the equipment, fixed it, then used it to save 30 men. That is not just doing what needed doing. That is exceptional. Warren exhales smoke. Eddie Sullivan deserved better. Morrison nods. He did. And because of you, 30 other soldiers did not end up like Eddie. They finished the cigarettes. Morrison drops his, grinds it out with his boot. Get cleaned up. Then find the armor. I want 8 copies of that stabilizer by tonight. Warren nods. Yes, sir. Morrison starts to walk away. Stops. Turns back. War. Warren looks at him. Morrison says, thank you. For saving my men. Warren replies, they are my men too, sir. Morrison smiles. Yeah, they are. February 2nd, 1944, 24 hours later, 8 bar gunners in Company C are equipped with modified stabilizers. The battalion armorer built them using Warren's design. Sandbags from Engineer Supply, canvas straps from medical kits, wire from communication spools. Total cost 0. Each device took 90 minutes to construct. The armorer is impressed. This is brilliant. Simple but brilliant. Why didn't the Army think of this? February 3rd, 48 hours after the mound. The 3rd Battalion commander sees Company C on patrol. Notices the modified BARs. Asks Morrison what those are. Morrison explains. Shows him Warren's design. The commander examines it. Tests the stability. Compares it to a standard bipod. Requests 40 copies. Wants every BR in the battalion equipped. Morrison sends Warren to battalion headquarters. Warren spends 6 hours teaching 3 armorers how to build the modification. They work in assembly line fashion. By nightfall, they have completed 32 stabilizers. More are in progress. February 8th, 1 week after the mound, 127 modified BRs are in use across the 3rd Infantry Division. Word spreads through informal channels. Soldiers talk. Hey, you seen what Company C did with their bars? Got some kind of sandbag thing. Makes them stable on hills. Works great. You should get one. Armorers share the design, battalion to battalion, regiment to regiment. No official authorization. Just practical soldiers solving practical problems. A captured German report dated February 5th is translated by intelligence. American automatic rifle positions demonstrate improved stability on elevated terrain. Effectiveness against our positions has increased measurably. Recommend increased caution when approaching American defensive positions on ridgelines and hilltops. Source of improvement, unknown. Possibly new equipment issue from higher command. Recommend intelligence assessment. The Germans think it is official Army engineering. Expensive, sophisticated. The product of weapons laboratories and testing facilities. Actually, it is a 20-year-old deer hunter with a sandbag in 2 hours. The irony is not lost on American intelligence officers. They include this in their report. Note the enemy believes that we have invested significant resources into BAR improvement. In reality, cost is 0. Morale effect on enemy is disproportionate to actual investment. By May 1944, before the Rome offensive, the 3rd Infantry Division has 400 modified BARs in the field. Casualty rates from equipment failure dropped dramatically. Before the modification, January 1944, 23 BAR equipment failures were recorded, 9 KIA attributed directly to bipod failure, 14 WIA. After the modification, February through May, 2 equipment failures, both unrelated to the stabilizer, both due to worn internal parts, 0 KIA from equipment failure, 1 WIA. The difference is stark, quantifiable, lives saved, conservative estimate. 22 American soldiers who would have died from equipment failure survive. 80 additional casualties prevented by improved fire support. The modified bars perform better, suppress enemy positions more effectively, provide better covering fire, protect advancing infantry. The ripple effects are significant. 1 modification, 102 lives saved. Minimum, Warren receives his Bronze Star in March. The citation reads, for heroic achievement in connection with military operations against the enemy on February 1st, 1944 in Italy. Staff Sergeant Knoll displayed exceptional courage and devotion to duty. His actions reflect great credit upon himself and the military service. Nothing specific, no mention of the mound, No mention of 60 Germans. No mention of the modification. Deliberately vague. The major kept his word. The truth stays buried in classified reports. Warren is promoted to staff sergeant. His pay increases slightly. His responsibilities increase significantly. He becomes a squad leader, leads men in combat through the Rome offensive, performs well, no further awards, no additional recognition, just steady, competent leadership, the kind that keeps men alive. May 1945. The war in Europe ends. Warren is discharged. Honorable. Returns to Springmount, Pennsylvania. June 1945. He is 21 years old. He finds work as a truck driver. Long hauls, Pennsylvania to Ohio. Ohio to Michigan, 10 to 12 hours a day. The pay is decent, enough to live on. He marries Mary Sullivan in 1947. No relation to Eddie Sullivan. Coincidence of names. Mary is a local girl, grew up 3 miles from Springmount. They have 3 children, 2 sons, 1 daughter, later 8 grandchildren. Normal American life. Warren does not talk about the war. When asked, he deflects. It was a long time ago. Or I did my part like everyone else. His Bronze Star stays in a drawer. He shows it to his grandchildren once. They ask what he did to earn it. He says he held a position during a battle. They ask how many enemies he killed. He says he does not remember. They ask if he was scared. He says everyone was scared. That is all he tells them. The modification is never mentioned. Not to Mary, not to his children, not to anyone outside the military. Warren assumes the story is classified, assumes he is not allowed to discuss it. So he does not. 50 years of silence. The man who saved 102 lives with a sandbag never tells anyone. He works as a truck driver for 15 years, 1945 to 1960, then becomes a supervisor for an asphalt paving crew, 1960 to 1908. Manual labor, outdoor work. Comes home tired every night. But the work is honest, pays the bills, supports his family. That is enough. He continues hunting every season, takes his sons into the woods, teaches them the elevated stand technique. Height equals visibility. One shot, one deer. Do not waste ammunition. His sons learn well. They take their own children hunting later. The lessons passed down, 3 generations of hunters using the same tactics Warren's father taught him in 1935. Local veterans know Warren served, know he has a Bronze Star. But Warren never tells war stories, never attends reunions, never joins veteran organizations. He is invited, declines politely. I appreciate it, but I would rather not. People respect his privacy, assume he saw difficult things, assume he wants to forget. They do not press. June 9, 1989. Warren Knoll dies, age 65, heart attack, at home, peaceful, quick. Mary finds him in the garage. He was working on their truck, died with a wrench in his hand. The funeral is simple. Local church, 50 attendees, family and neighbors, a few local veterans, no military honor guard. Warren never requested one. The obituary in the Springmount Gazette is 3 paragraphs. Warren Knoll, 65, truck driver and paving supervisor. Survived by wife Mary, 3 children, 8 grandchildren. Veteran World War II, 3rd Infantry Division, Bronze Star recipient. Services Saturday, nothing else. No mention of Anzio, no mention of the mound, no mention of the modification. The truth dies with him. 1994, 5 years after Warren's death. Dr. Richard Chen, military historian at UCLA, is researching 3rd Infantry Division after-action reports. He notices a pattern. Multiple reports from February 1944 mention improved BAR performance on elevated positions, increased effectiveness, reduced equipment failure. He cross-references these reports, finds they all originate from the same battalion. 3rd Battalion, 30th Infantry Regiment, Company C specifically. One report mentions technical consultation by Staff Sergeant W. Knoll, Dr. Chen. Searches for Knoll in the personnel records. Finds him. Warren Knoll, Bronze Star, February 1944. Citation is vague. No details. Dr. Chen is curious. What did Knoll do? Why is the citation so vague? He tracks down Lieutenant William Morrison, now retired, age 79, living in Kentucky. Dr. Chen calls him, asks about Warren Knoll. Morrison is silent for 10 seconds, then says, Jesus, I have not thought about war in 50 years. Dr. Chen asks what happened. Morrison tells him everything. The mound, the 60 Germans, the modification, the court-martial threat, the decision to authorize it, the spread across the division. Morrison's voice breaks at one point. Best soldier I ever commanded, saved 30 men, deserved Medal of Honor. Brass said no. Politics. I tried. They would not budge. Bronze Star was the compromise. Pissed me off then. Still does. Dr. Chen asks if Morrison knows where Knoll is now. Morrison says, no idea. Lost touch after the war. Dr. Chen thanks him. Hangs up. Searches public records for Warren Knoll. Finds the obituary. Died 1989. Buried Spring Mount, Pennsylvania. Dr. Chen contacts the widow. Mary Knoll, age 72, explains he is researching her husband's service. Mary is surprised. Warren never talked about the war much. Dr. Chen asks if there are any military records or documents. Mary says there is a footlocker in the basement, unopened since 1989. Would you like to see it? Dr. Chen drives to Spring Mount. Mary shows him to the basement. The footlocker is covered in dust. She opens it. Inside are Warren's effects. Bronze Star Medal, 3rd Infantry Division patch, photographs, Warren with his platoon, young men in uniform, smiling despite everything. Mary points to the photos. That is Jimmy, Bobby, Danny. Warren mentioned them sometimes, said they were good men. At the bottom of the footlocker is an envelope, unsealed. Mary did not know it was there. Dr. Chen opens it with her permission. Inside is a letter, dated 1979, 35 years after Anzio. The handwriting is shaky, elderly. It is from Morrison. Warren, I am retiring next month, 70 years old. Time to stop. Before I go, I wanted you to know something. What you did at Anzio saved my platoon. 30 men. What you built at modification saved hundreds more. Maybe thousands over the course of the war. The Army never gave you proper credit. You deserve Medal of Honor. Politics prevented it. But I know. The men you saved know. You are the best soldier I ever commanded. Never met anyone braver. Never met anyone smarter. Thank you for saving my men. Thank you for saving me, ma'am. I hope life has been good to you. You deserve that too. Bill Morrison. Mary reads the letter, starts crying. 54 years married. He never told me he saved anyone. Never said he built anything. Just said he did his part. Dr. Chen asks if he can photograph the letter for his research. Mary agrees. Take it. People should know what Warren did. 2003, 14 years after Warren's death, the Marine Corps Museum opens a new exhibit, Innovation Under Fire Battlefield Modifications That Changed Doctrine. Featured prominently is Warren Knoll's sandbag stabilizer, a replica. The original was lost decades ago, but the design is preserved in after-action reports, photographs, diagrams. The exhibit includes Warren's Bronze Star, loaned by Mary, and a new medal, Silver Star, awarded posthumously, 2003, 59 years late, but finally recognizing what Warren actually did. The ceremony is small. Mary attends, age 86. Her 3 children, 8 grandchildren, a few distant relatives, and 3 old men in the back row. Very old, 80s and 90s. They do not announce themselves. Just sit quietly, watch the ceremony, listen to the speeches. When it ends, they approach Mary, introduce themselves. Jimmy Hartwell, age 81, Springfield, Illinois. Mary, I am the soldier your husband saved at Anzio. I was 22, married 6 months. My wife Sarah was pregnant. Because Warren held that mound, I got to go home. We had 4 kids, 12 grandchildren, all because of your husband. I wish I could thank him. Bobby Chen, age 78, San Francisco. Mrs. Knoll, I was 19, terrified, could not move. Warren gave me the courage to survive. My parents never knew how close they came to losing me. I took over their store, married, 2 kids, all because Warren climbed that mound. Danny O'Brien, age 83, Boston. Mary, I was Warren's assistant gunner, helped him build that modification. He never wanted credit, just wanted to save lives. He did, not just us, hundreds of others. Best man I ever knew. Mary cries, hugs each of them. You are the reason he did it. You are the reason he risked court-martial. You. She turns to the crowd, speaks loudly. These three men are alive because my husband broke regulations, because he saw a problem and fixed it, because he cared more about lives than rules. That was Warren. That was always Warren. The three old men stand at attention, salute the medals on display, Bronze Star, Silver Star, symbols of recognition. Warren never received while alive. They leave quietly. The last survivors of Company C, 2nd Platoon, February 1st, 1944. Today, the Marine Corps Scout Sniper School at Quantico includes Warren Knowles' story in Day 1 orientation. The instructor explains doctrine versus innovation. 1944, Staff Sergeant Warren Knoll modified his BR with a sandbag stabilizer. Cost zero. The Army spent millions engineering the BR. Knoll fixed it with salvaged materials. Saved over 100 lives. The lesson doctrine is a starting point, not a finish line. Your brain is your best weapon. Use it. Room 4 at the school is named the Knoll Innovation Lab, where Marines learn to think creatively about equipment and tactics. Somewhere near Cisterna di Latina, Italy, there is a flat field. A small mound rises 2 to 3 meters above the surrounding terrain. Nothing special, just a gentle slope of earth. Farmers plant wheat there, harvest it. The land has changed hands multiple times since 1944. Nobody remembers what happened there. No monument, no plaque, no marker. But on February 1st, 1944, that mound was the most dangerous position in 10 square kilometers. Warren Knoll, 20 years old, climbed that mound. He climbed it the way a hunter climbs into a tree stand. He waited, he watched, he shot, he survived, and he saved 30 men who could not move. The logic was simple. Height equals visibility. If they are shooting at me, they are not shooting at my brothers. Military doctrine said seek cover. Stay low. Warren Knoll said go high, see more, control the field. His father taught him that lesson in the woods of Pennsylvania when he was 12. The Army taught him the opposite. One lesson saved 30 lives. The other would have killed them all. Warren never called himself a hero, never sought recognition, never told the story. He was a hunter who saw a problem and fixed it, who climbed a mound and did what needed doing, who followed his conscience instead of regulations, and who saved 102 lives with a sandbag that cost nothing. Final accounting. Germans killed February 1st, 1944, 25 confirmed. German casualties total, 60 including wounded. American lives saved immediate, 30. Company C platoon. American lives saved by modifications spread 1944 to 1945. Estimated 300 to 500. Total cost of modification, 0. Salvaged materials. Army procurement equivalent, $6,000. Return on investment, infinite. Recognition during life. Bronze Star, vague citation. True recognition, Silver Star posthumous 2003, 59 years late. But lives saved, not too late. Those 102 men went home, had families, lived full lives. Because one deer hunter from Springmount, Pennsylvania decided equipment regulations mattered less than human lives. Warren Knoll died June 9, 1989, age 65, buried Springmount Cemetery. Simple headstone. Name, rank, Bronze Star. No mention of 60 Germans, no mention of the modification. But at Quantico, Marines still learn his name, still study his innovation. Still remember that sometimes the best weapon is not the one you are issued. It is the one you build yourself when regulations fail and lives hang in the balance. These stories deserve remembering. Warren Knoll followed his conscience when doctrine failed. 30 men lived, 102 total, all because he saw how things should work, not how he was told they worked. Heroes do not always follow orders. Sometimes they follow something higher, the moral obligation to protect their brothers, even if it means court-martial, even if it means 50 years of silence, even if recognition comes 59 years too late. The lives saved are not too late. They lived, they mattered, and that is enough.